I hear a lot of people getting frustrated with their healing process and saying things like, I thought I've already healed that. And I see a lot of people getting stuck in this mentality of thinking that healing is linear, that once you do enough clearing work, that you're going to suddenly be good and ready to achieve bigger things. And partly, yes, this is true in part, but people have um, a belief that isn't actually true about thinking that healing is linear versus cyclical. Healing is very much cyclical. In my Tantra teacher training, they called this the cycle of life, the spiral of life, the spiral of life. And that indicates that when there's something that is a woundedness in our past, from our past, that keeps affecting us and creating patterns that we don't desire, we have a chance to circle around on that in different ways at different times of our life or certain triggers that bring it up. But every time we spiral around on it, we have already done some level of awareness and clearing and healing, most likely, and we're able to address it from a different perspective, from a more resourced place, and from a greater capacity. And this capacity is really what I'm talking about here, because it does take a lifetime sometimes of building capacity in your nervous system and in doing so in different ways, but building that capacity over time so that when that trigger gets brought up again and when you get um, really agitated and frustrated and the patterns in your life are not going the way that you thought you had done all the healing work to clear it, um, you can look back and actually see there's already been a lot of progress. There's already been a lot of progress. And so, yes, it gets easier. And in a way, it gets harder because the greater capacity that you have, if you're a deep person, if you're an energetic person, if you're an empath, if you're a very spiritual person, you have the ability to go to deeper depths, greater heights, and experience more in your life because you've built up that capacity. But that same original wounding or trauma isn't going to affect you in quite the same way as it had been previously. And so, yes, it does get easier. And in a way, it gets harder, but that's an opportunity because you're on the evolved path to take greater responsibility, having more responsibility for your awareness, because all is awareness. All is awareness. And if 97% of our subconscious is actually subconscious, meaning that we aren't aware of our behaviors and actions, we aren't aware of why these patterns keep happening in our life until we really work through it from the subconscious level. And that's why somatic work is so different and subconscious healing is so different, otherwise known as quantum healing, because it's much deeper when we can actually bring something from the subconscious level to the conscious level. That's why awareness is key. That's why awareness gets us so much farther than anything else. And it's, of course, what we do with that awareness, because we can be aware and still be replaying those patterns because there's a sabotaging piece inside of us in our subconscious that we haven't yet befriended. And that's the simplest way of putting it. So there's your tidbit for today on these cycles of healing and just looking at it from a different perspective, because you really have done the work. It's just that we're human and we get to have a range of feelings and emotions, and different things bring up old wounds and traumas in a different way. But we're all of us are building the capacity for greatness in our life. And building capacity in the nervous system is a part of the somatic healing as well, and quantum healing. And that is really what makes a huge difference in seeing real results. I can tell you from personal experience that I've been doing this work for a really long time. And it's building the capacity in the nervous system, co-regulating with other humans, and having the experiential practice. We can't do this without each other. Even if we are, a monk who's been meditating in a cave or on the mountaintop for years, it still isn't going to have the same effect as experiencing it, sharing it with other people.